Welcome to Wednesday Football Roundtable. I am Sean, your host. I'm here with Dave and Eric, who you can't see, so do not mistake him for KD. Dave, you are in an exotic location. Where are you coming in from?
I am in Ensenada right now. My boat is just leaving the dock. We are getting ready to go back out into international waters, heading back to Los Angeles. I'll be here for 2 more days, and then I'll be back on the land. What's happening?
Oh, nothing much, man. Well, thank you for joining us, Eric. Welcome.
I'm in an exotic place too. I am in on 469 in Fort Wayne, Indiana. How's it going, boys?
All right. We can barely hear you, so speak a little louder, but we got what you said. So before we get going here, welcome everybody, and remember to like, share, subscribe, comment, and do all the good things so you get all our latest content. Because as some of us last week were idiots in the pick'ems, I'm going to give David his props because he went 12-4 last week when even the professionals were lucky to go 8-8. So, David, gloat a little bit, if you will.
No, I ain't going to gloat. Like I say, picking games is nothing more than chance, but the only thing I'll gloat about is I'm just happy that I was able to catch you, Sean. You are the defending champion. So in our pick, so the fact that me and KD are now tied for first, it makes me feel good that at least I'm guessing right this year. So I'm happy about that.
All right, beautiful. So for all our viewers out there, this show might be a little more shaky than usual just because Jeff and David are not here to control it. So I have complete control. So I'm going to do all the video rolling and everything like that. So you'll have to bear with us. Real quick, I'm David. I'm going to go right to you because we don't know how long you're going to be on. But the news of the week: Von Miller got suspended for 4 games. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, like I said, I knew he had that domestic violence charge in 2023. You know, whether it was coming or not, I kind of figured at some point. But my only issue is with any of that stuff. It comes down to this. The case was settled, and the fact that they waited 4 games into the season to decide that they were going to suspend him doesn't make sense to me. If you're going to do something like that, you're either going to do it at the beginning of the season or you're going to do it at the beginning of next season. The fact that they arbitrarily decide to go and do something like that in season when you have other players, and I don't mean to harp on it, but like, for example, Rashee Rice, there's video of him leaving a scene of an accident, which is a felony to begin with, regardless of what the legal system calls it or not. The fact that he walked away from a vehicle accident with injury, he should have been suspended immediately just for the fact that he left. Regardless of what happens in the courts are the courts. But in the NFL's eyes, that's a felony just to walk away from it. So it doesn't matter. Like I said, for me, the Von Miller thing, does he deserve to be suspended? Sure. But they arbitrarily decide who, when, why, and how, and at what point. To me, it should have been done at the beginning of the season. He should have missed the first 4 games, and then it would have been fine taken care of. But to go 4 games into a season to suspend a player just doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm not speaking as a Buffalo Von Miller fan. I'm speaking as a fan in general, that for any team. It should be done at the beginning of the season, or it should be done for the following season, not once you're in season, unless the crime or whatever takes place during the season.
All right. I got to agree with that. You're right. I didn't even know this was happening before. Honest. Eric, do you have any comments about this situation?
Yeah, so I think he's suspended, and I maybe perhaps the evidence took long enough for them to kind of come to a conclusion that he's guilty. And so what I think probably was the issue was they were still gathering information, and then once they figured out they had enough evidence to suspend him because he actually went ahead and committed the crime, they decided to do it. Uh, I, I'm okay. Look, he's got a couple sacks for him, and that's great. But he's a rotational piece, so it's not going to hurt Buffalo too bad. Uh, I'm okay with the suspension, whether it's now or later. Uh, I, I do would like an explanation, but you won't get one because here's the deal: Roger Goodell has the power, he wields the power, and he doesn't give a crap what anybody else thinks, and that's part of the reason he's a really bad commissioner. There isn't a lot of transparency going on uh, with his decision making. So I've not been a big fan of his, but that's what happens when you let lawyers run the NFL. And the Von Miller situation happening 4 weeks in, you'll never get an answer, and uh, you vote Roger Goodell in, and this is what you get, boys.
David, I hope you don't mind unmuting you for a little bit, just because you got announcements going on in the back. Unmute you. There you go. Okay, so Rashee Rice torn ACL? Gone for the season. Tough break. Does that change Kansas City's playoff and Super Bowl aspirations? Eric, what are your thoughts?
So I think Kansas City will get aggressive and probably add a receiver at some point. I've heard Amari Cooper is going to be on the block if Cleveland tanks. There's Hopkins, and then there's Devontae Adams. I think they get somebody. I think they'll add on to what they have, but that somebody will be a nice addition, but won't be the guy. I think the Xavier Worthy's timetable has gotten sped up. I think they won a Super Bowl, and Juju was the one, if I remember right, when they won it, the year he was there. So they can be creatively win games. I think they figured it out, and they creatively stay in games, though their running back health is a concern at the moment.
All right, David, what do you think?
Yeah, well, looking at Kansas City, I think some things have set up well with Kansas City. I think the fact that they signed Kareem Hunt, it's going to be a huge lift for them. I think you're going to see Travis Kelce get more involved offensively. I look at the fact that Noah Gray has been involved in the offense. So you're going to have that 2 tight end thing. So, as far as Rashee Rice, the last I read, and I don't know if anybody's heard any differently, but the tests have been inconclusive on his knee in terms of whether it's a torn ACL or not. So, from the fact that he might not be out as long as they think, if the ACL isn't torn, if it's just a sprain, that could bode well for them. But the one thing that I'll say about Kansas City, that they always seem to, no matter what, they make do with what they have. They'll adjust the offense to fit Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid's schemes. So from that standpoint, I don't look at Kansas City as, it's a blow to lose a Rashee Rice, but I don't think it's a detriment, because I think Andy Reid is a great coach and can make the adjustments that they have to keep that team viable.
Okay. I kind of agree with that. I think it's definitely a blow, and they will be a little easier to defend. But this team really looks complete after 4 games, and I think they'll be okay. They'll get someone in there, but if they get Worthy up to speed, they're right back in the same position. Lastly, the news of the week is Devontae Adams now. This has gotten a little strange. And we got a lot of people, a lot of speculation out there. They've agreed to give him a trade. He wants a trade. I thought this was going to happen before the beginning of the year, but they're looking at getting a number 2 plus other compensation for him. Uh, does this make any sense to you, David? And if so, where does he end up?
Yeah, let me talk because we're moving and I'm going to lose you guys soon. So I'll speak on this and then I'll take off. But, Devontae Adams is interesting. You look at teams, obviously the Saints and Jets are prime candidates just because of his knowledge and his familiarity with Derek Carr and with Aaron Rodgers. I think it's going to depend on what the other compensation is. There's other teams that, can do that. I'll say Buffalo only because they have 2 second-round picks. And also, I think a lot of it depends on the Von Miller thing when it comes to Buffalo. And I'm not saying that Devontae Adams goes there, but the one thing about Buffalo is if he was suspended due to the personal conduct policy, and I don't know what Von Miller's contract calls for, but if Buffalo was looking to get out of having to pay him guaranteed money and saving on the salary cap, I guess Devontae Adams wanting a trade and Von Miller getting suspended might come at an advantageous time for Buffalo, because if they can get out of his contract and that guaranteed money that he's due this year and next year, it would free up a substantial amount of salary cap space. That being said, I don't think Buffalo is a fit. They got rid of Stephon Diggs because he was that alpha number 1 who wanted targets and targets and targets. I don't know if Buffalo is looking to do that. But I will say that the Jets and the Saints are both viable candidates. I guess what I would have to look at, though, from the perspective of what are the other compensation besides the number 2? What is it that the Raiders are looking to get back and acquire? If you're going to give Devontae Adams to the Saints, are they going to want like a second-round pick and a Rashid Shaheed back? And if you give him to the Jets, are they going to be looking for a second-round pick and a Braylon Allen type person coming back to them from the Raiders to bolster their running game? So I think the second-round pick I don't think is an issue for anybody. I think it's that additional compensation that you're looking at that's going to be the key factor in what those teams are willing to do and what the Raiders are looking to get back.
Okay. Eric, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I don't have a lot of thoughts yet because it's early on in the process, and I don't want to get I've already had enough cock tease with Brandon Ayuk. I don't want to continue that conversation. I think it'll depend on if the Raiders are tanking or not, and if they're trying to win right now. I think that a trade to the Saints or the Jets probably makes the most sense in terms of compensation packages. Now, they could get up if they wanted to stockpile draft picks. It opens the doors for other teams. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But it'll be probably wide receiver drama for another few weeks. Which, yay!
Yep. Anthony, you're 100% correct. I think that would happen. They would trade him up for Garrett Wilson. One team that really struck me, but I don't think he's going to take it, is the New England Patriots. They got the draft capital. They got capital.
Hey, Sean, I'm just going to let you know I got to take off, folks. But y'all have a good week. I'll be back in the mainland on Friday. So you all have a great show. Eric, nice seeing you. I couldn't really see you because you're in the car and it's dark. But I just want to say one last thing. It ain't the officials' fault Pittsburgh lost. Every team gets every bad call during the week. But you got a lot of promise in Justin Fields because he proved to me that he can come back from a deficit. So don't take it as a negative. Take it as a positive. Justin Fields put some great work on tape, and he put Pittsburgh on notice that he can get the job done. So don't fret. It's one game. Not every team is going to go undefeated. Not any team is going to go undefeated. But what Justin Fields did this week shows me that Pittsburgh is still in games. regardless of the score, because he proved that he can come back, and you guys almost pulled it off. I know there was some crappy penalties in the game, but teams get drilled with shitty penalties all the time, and it's just a fact, and it's unfortunate. But Justin Fields showed a lot of promise, and Pittsburgh's offense showed promise. And one other thing, you ain't going to have two 1,000-yard rushers this year. But I will say it was good on Pittsburgh because Justin Fields showed a lot of heart, and Pittsburgh has nothing to hang their hat over, and I think they're going to be fine. So don't sweat the small stuff. You're going to lose a game here and there, but I think Pittsburgh's going to be a force to reckon with. So keep your head up, buddy. But anyway, I got to take off because we are leaving port, and I'm going to lose this signal. So you guys have a great show, and I will talk to you guys on Friday when I get back in.
All right, sounds good, Dave. Have fun on the rest of your vacation.
Take care.
All right, so well, here we are, me and a black screen. Okay, so that's kind of it for. Okay, go ahead, Eric, because I know you've been dying. Go ahead, say it.
I know I don't have anything to say. I'm just I'm filling the role of Katie tonight.
Okay, because I knew you wanted to complain about that call, and even though Tomlin said it wasn't he didn't agree with the call, and then New York said they didn't agree with the call, it was still called. So you can't go back and fix things. They can't go back and change it. All right, so let's quick. We're gonna go do the rundown of Week 4. I mean, and I got Week 2 up there. But anyway, the Cowboys beat the Giants. Bengals beat the Panthers 34-24. Saints over the Falcons. I mean, the Falcons over the Saints in a nail-biter. Broncos whipped up on my Jets. Jaguars lost to the Texans. Vikings beat the Packers in a squeaker, but it was not that close. Steelers lost to the Colts. The Rams lost to the Bears. Eagles got embarrassed at the Buccaneers. Patriots got crushed by the Niners. Commanders crushed the Cardinals. The Chiefs beat the Chargers. Browns lost to the Raiders. The Bills lost to the Ravens. Titans beat Miami, and the Seahawks beat the Lions in a really good Monday night game. Are there any specific games you would like to discuss from the past week, Eric?
No, I was driving back from Indianapolis, so I missed a lot of the football this weekend because it took forever to leave that city. I will say that in the stadiums, KD's video of these guys fighting, hey, this is real stuff. They got to limit alcohol because I got into it pretty. I was about 3.5 seconds from fisticuffs leaving that stadium, and not because we were mad about the stadium, but man, we're just trying to take a piss and getting pushed around. So when you go to a stadium, go enjoy the stadium, but just remember, we're all human beings, and we all need to get along. That's all I got.
Yeah, it's a bit embarrassing with these videos that he shared with us, and then we had to hear about Eric's story. Just him and his dad just trying to use the facilities, and here we go. But I know when you're like, it's very tough if you go to Meadowlands and you wear the opposite team from the Jets or the Giants. You either got to have very thick skin, or you just got to tune it out because they're terrible. Not as bad as Philadelphia fans. They're the worst. Anyway, so with that recap, let's quick go to the panic room once again.
Remain calm. All is well.
Okay, those were the teams in the panic room last week. I'll put them back up there. So as of week 3, these were the teams in the panic room. I don't think anyone did great getting out, but there was one team that honestly did get out. And I am replacing them with the New York Jets have now entered the panic room. Eric, any thoughts on that?
So I think the Jets are fine. They're 2-2. It sucks to lose to Denver, but I mean Pittsburgh lost equally to an equally bad Indianapolis team. So you're not in the panic room yet. I think the Jets are okay.
It was a terrible, sloppy game. They looked like the same old Jets. Like, this is what I've been watching for the last decade. They were terrible. They offensive penalties absolutely killed them. I understand bad weather, but you know what? Football is played in the rain. Football is played in the snow. And Aaron Rodgers comes from the frozen tundra. And it just wasn't good. He got injured. The Jets' offensive line looked like crap. I am panicking because this coming week, they are in London and they have the Minnesota Vikings. Then the following week, they have the Buffalo Bills at home. Buffalo Bills, although did not look good on Sunday night, could still come in and just wallop the Jets. So we could go from 2-1, then now we're at 2-2. We can go to 2-4 real quick before we have a redemption game against the New England Patriots. So I definitely think we're in the panic room. I can't see other teams. I mean, I didn't include the Giants in the panic room because they suck, and we know they suck, and we're expecting them. They're not panicking because they're just crappy. Eric, any team that you could see that should be in the panic room that I didn't mention? You want me to put that back up for you?
No, I mean, these are all good. I think Dallas is 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think they're quite in panic room time. I mean, they're a win out of there. I don't think their panic level's high. Miami, Tennessee, Bengals, Browns, Jaguars, Bears, definitely all panic time. But other than that, I think you're okay.
Okay. Real quick, I want to touch on the Jacksonville Jaguars because this is, oh my God, what is going on down in Jacksonville? I mean, they don't look good at all. I mean, they put up some points against Houston, but this is a team that is in a lot of trouble. And Jacksonville in the panic, but the battery don't work. Push on the panic button. Okay. Very true, Anthony. And I think, Anthony, is he our Jacksonville guy? But yeah, that's a problem. Eric, any thoughts on Jacksonville? What are they doing? What's going on?
They're really beat up in the secondary. They've got a bunch of weaknesses on the team. I'm kind of out on Jacksonville. They just not going to be their year. Trevor Lawrence, they got to make a decision because he kind of shit in the bed here for him, and he's not helping. I think Peterson will be the first coach to go.
Right. And yes, Jeff just let me know it is Joseph. I apologize, Anthony. Okay, so anyway, with all the panic room buttons done, we'll start. We're just going to probably have a very quick show tonight just because not a lot of us on, and we don't want to tuck your ear off. But I'm going to put up the picks from last week. Jeff was 10-6, David 12-4, Eric was 9-7, Katie was 10-6, I was 9-7, and Hot Pockets was 7-9. We're not getting anybody sending in their picks, so I may have to start this thing all over and get you guys involved. And please get your picks in because I'm tired of again clothing Hot Pockets' whole family. So anyway, year to date now, David and KD are in first. I'm in second, and David and Eric are in last place, bringing up the basement. Hopefully something will change this week. What happened last week, Eric?
I'm getting my laptop up, but if we're just doing picks, I'll stay alone here. Just a terrible week pick wise. Being in last place with Jeff super sucks. So let's go and get this week fixed up here, and hopefully we don't have any official interference here.
Yes, I did again predict that David will come in last in the picks. And of course, he climbed up to number one. And so now he's got to throw it in my face, but that's okay. So, okay, so let's talk about, we'll go through this week's games. We'll do our picks. David's already got his picks into me. But we're going to start off with Thursday night. Tomorrow night, we got Tampa at Atlanta. David has predicted that Tampa Bay will beat Atlanta. Eric, what's your prediction on this one?
I've got Tampa Bay at Atlanta. Give me Tampa.
Okay. I am also going to pick Tampa. I don't want to because I like Atlanta against them. But I think after that stomping that Tampa Bay took at the hands of the Broncos, I think they woke them up because last week they put a thumping on Philadelphia. It was not that close. All right. Then now number 2 in London, the Jets at Minnesota. David has picked Minnesota. I, being a Jet fan, am also going to pick Minnesota. I think the Jets are gonna succumb here. Eric,
So the game's in Minnesota or at New York?
it's in London.
Oh, in London?
Yes.
Jets bound. Give me New York. I got the Jets.
All right. I hope you are correct. Okay, here's a barn burner. Carolina at Chicago. David has selected Carolina. I am going to go Chicago in this game, being at home. They played pretty well against the Rams, and Caleb Williams is actually getting some offense going. Eric?
Give me the Bears.
Okay. And then we have Baltimore at Cincinnati. I think we're both going Baltimore on this one.
Yeah, I got
David?
Baltimore too. I think the Ravens win.
Okay. Yeah. And David picked Baltimore. And this one is a head scratcher. You got Miami at New England. David has picked Miami. I am going to go New England on this one. Even though New England doesn't have much going for it, the quarterbacks for Miami have not shown me anything. So I think they're going to fall, and New England's going to win some games. So Eric, what do you got?
New England. Hey, Bailey and I are both getting ready to treat Shiloh's tail here, and as I'm explaining to him, he's telling me take New England. So I got New England.
Okay. No, sorry about your doggy's tail abscess. Okay, so then we got Cleveland at Washington. David has selected Washington. Eric?
Bailey says take Washington.
I agree. The way Washington's playing, people at the beginning of the year said Washington's going to win the NFC East, and I was like, "Oh, bullshit!" They're looking like they're going to do it. Daniels is looking awesome, and then we have Indianapolis at Jacksonville, and David has picked Indianapolis. Richardson is day to day. I gotta tell you, Joe Flacco came in and impressed the hell out of me.
Me too.
I'm also going to go Indy. Eric?
Yeah, it's in Jacksonville, right? But
It is.
Indianapolis hasn't won in Jacksonville in years. They break the record here, or they break the streak, and they win in Jacksonville. Give me the Colts.
All righty. Now, this was a tough one. Buffalo at Houston. David has selected Buffalo. Eric?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a tough one. I know Houston's going to be pissed, though. I'm going to go against Bailey. I'm going to take Bailey's taking Buffalo. I'm taking Houston.
All right. I am also taking Houston at home. Buffalo has not impressed me on the road, and I think they're gonna have more than they can handle. And then Vegas at Denver. David has selected Denver. God, this is tough. Man. I'm going to go Vegas on this one. I think the Raiders are going to go into Denver and win that one. Eric?
100%. So I'm going Vegas.
Okay. I feel good that you're picking the same teams I am, except for last week you sucked. So
I was really bad.
All right, then we got Arizona at San Francisco. David picked San Francisco. I am also going San Francisco.
Arizona at San Francisco.
Yes.
Ooh. San Francisco banged up, but they win at home. If that was at Arizona, though, I might take the Cardinals.
All right. Then we got Green Bay at the LA Rams. David has selected Green Bay. Eric.
Green Bay at the LA Rams. Ooh. I'm going to take LA.
All right. I am going to pick Green Bay. Just LA's missing too many pieces. And they also lost to Chicago. I realize I had to travel and everything, but okay. Giants at Seattle. David has picked Seattle. I am going with David on this one. Seattle, after that Monday night loss, is pissed off, and they're going to beat up on the Giants.
Yeah, I got Seattle.
Ooh, fun one. Dallas at Pittsburgh. David has selected Pittsburgh. I'm going with the Dallas Cowpies. Eric.
So Brandon Cooks is out. DeMarcus Lawrence is out. Micah Parsons is out. Those are three big injuries. If they had two of the three, I think that Dallas wins because I think Brandon Cooks helps the passing game. But you're down a weapon. CeeDee Lamb's going to get a lot of attention. Jake Ferguson, or still got Ferguson. He's still going to be a player there. But with Cooks, really is the key here. So give me Pittsburgh because Dallas is banged up.
All right. Now, I knew Lawrence was out. I knew Cooks was out. And that's right, Lawrence is out too. I'm going to stick with my pick. Dallas is going to pull that one out. And then we have the Monday night matchup. New Orleans at Kansas City. David has selected New Orleans. I am not going to go against KC until they lose. Eric?
Is it at KC?
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Okay. It's okay. Hey, it's okay. I'll get it when I'm done.
She won't
Hey,
stop moving.
it's all right. I'll get her when I'm done. Hey, so give me KC. It's at KC. Give me KC at home. If it was at New Orleans, I'd be tempted, but I'm going to take the Chiefs.
All right. And Detroit, Tennessee, Philadelphia, and the Chargers are all on bye weeks. This is the first week of bye weeks. All right. So we kind of went through everything we should go through. I don't know. Does anyone have any comments, questions, or whatever? I mean, I know it was only a half-hour show, but
I have a comment.
Bailey would like to make a comment. Go ahead, Bailey.
Vikings are going undefeated.
Vikings are going undefeated.
All year long, 17-0.
Wow.
That's something, ain't it, Kate? That's something. So look, it's it's half hour, and I apologize to our viewers. I coach, and on top of that, we just have an infected abscess to deal with tonight. So I apologize about life. I'll be back next week, set up on the laptop, and hopefully we get Jeff and Dave and everybody back next week. But if you're going to a game, don't be a turd. So that's what I got.
All right. That is respectable. All right. So if no one's got anything else, we're just going to wrap it up here. I know it's a short show. Sorry, guys. Maybe it's, it just is what it is. We don't have a word from our sponsors, so we're just going to go to the outro. And thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate it. Remember, like, share, notify, and subscribe. Have a good night.